Billy? Jeffrey, what's going on? Yeah. Well, last step, yeah, still doing well. Yes, it's been a long day. What's up, Casey? Uh, bottom, but, possible, but hard sometimes. Yes, it's time. Doing all right, man. How are you, buddy? I've I go round in the ball. I didn't know what the heck that was. The day I watched my dad. Oh, around it? Like that? Oh, how'd you do that? Like, well, I don't understand. Like, oh, that those work. Well, I've had no problem. I didn't know I could work it as people a lot. Like, as ankle or whatever. Like, it's pretty sweet. Can you hear me? Do something here. There's ground pounder. Let's try something. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now, buddy.
All right. What's up, bud?
I'm just hanging out, man. What about yourself?
I'm just doing it, man. I'm just doing it. It was a wild one today. I I feel like I pushed it. Like I shouldn't have. I'm scared what I did. Like I
Oh,
recorded it all too, but thinking back on it, I feel so stupid. Like I feel dumb. But you kind of just live and learn, I guess. But
yeah. Hey, this is interesting and new for me. I'm seeing all you guys' feeds come up and what's going on, Rob, Bob, Dan, everybody, Billy.
yeah, let's see what we can if we can try to keep up with the commenters because I haven't been able to do that every time I do one of these. So I'm gonna try this time. But yeah.
Yeah, I
So
found my shirt, guys.
right on. Right on. Did you have any trouble getting over to the live feed? Was it hard?
No, once I clicked on the link, it just brought me right to it. Said that it was just waiting on you for a minute, but no, it was real easy.
That's awesome. Okay, yeah, because I had a lot of trouble just getting this link started. Hat Basset? Nat Basset.
Yeah, that's my daughter.
Oh, sweet.
And what's going on, Kendall?
What's up, guys? I had to switch out Greg's tether because it comes with these he sent me these bottoms and these. And if you notice, like these are bent, these are meant for the zigzag. So they're shorter and kind of bowed out a little bit. And this is for the hitch climber. So I think I'm
Okay.
gonna go back to the hitch climber a little more and press it. But
Right on.
you How far along are you on the oaks? You about done with it?
So the one up closest by the house has got a one hell of a crack way up in it,
Yeah, I
and
saw.
I kind of been leaving that one last. So out of those five large oaks, we've got I'd say we got one completely down and cleaned up, two ready to be taken down, and the third and fourth, worked on. So we're making good progress. But shit, last week, man, it was so hot. I called it quits by noon.
Yeah, we had a. That's what we did the past 2 days. We just made them short days and few hours, and then it got so hot. It was like this isn't worth it.
Yeah, it's when it gets so hot like that, you really need to listen to yourself, and when you start getting quoozy and whatnot, you need to just chill out, man, because it's not worth it in the end. We were talking about heat stroke the other day, and that's no joke, man. It'll actually take guys out. People don't think about that stuff enough.
Yeah, yeah. It happens really quick too. You don't realize it. You can almost have to force liquids down. Like
Absolutely.
usually, yeah, you're not even thirsty a lot of times. It's like force it down. But
Yeah.
um, I think we've got a crew here already. Let's get into ground pounder as
Oh
a
boy.
as a tree guy. Like what what got you into tree work?
Oh boy. So 13 years ago, I got sick and tired of working for the man per se.
Yeah,
And well, I had a pickup truck, and I started putting my pickup truck to work. People started having me remove brush piles. I did lot cleanups. I used to do eviction cleanouts. I mean, you name it, I used to do it. Everything outdoors. So brush piles led to trimming trees. Trees led to more trees. I started doing that, and I realized, I really love this, and I just slowly just kind of started immersing myself into it, and I've been just completely thrown myself at it 100% in the last 5 years. I mean,
so
and
that's interesting to me because you social media was around when you started to go at it, right? Like there was kind of some social media going on.
interestingly enough, I started on Craigslist, man. I
Oh,
put
really?
ads. I put ads on Craigslist on the labor and moving and skilled trade and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And like I said, I just started as I was working. I progressively started going more towards trees, and then I went full time, 100% on trees in 2019.
Oh,
So
right on. Yeah. See, that always kind of is interesting to me. I'm curious because I didn't. Social media was nothing when I decided to like learn how to do trees and do tree work. It was just more for me. I think it was more of a manly, crazy game. I was so young. My dad did it, and it wasn't a big deal to me. Like I thought every person's dad climbed trees. Like I'm
right,
like your dad don't climb trees and swing around with big chainsaws. What? And so it's interesting to me when I get to see people that like because there's a lot of people out there that will like they've just watched a video and watching a video has been enough to inspire them to take this route and get into tree work, and that's cool.
sure. Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, so for me, it was I used to do fall cleanups, mow lawns, you name it, man. And I wore backpack blowers until they wore me down completely. I mean, they would just break me down. And I'd start making the realization I really love doing trees, and I can make a hell of a lot more money doing trees than I can picking up the leaves from them. So that's how it started, and you know, I just do it now to provide for my kids and whatnot. And basically, once my kids and everything get older and move out of the house, man, I something's gonna give here. I'm gonna slow down and take more time off than I do now.
Right on. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's cool. I mean, that's cool that you got into it and you still like enjoy doing it. You know, found a different route from something that was similar. That's what's cool.
Yeah, I love it, man. I cannot even picture myself doing anything else as a profession. I literally said the other day, you could probably pay me $100,000 outright a year to work in a shop, and I would be absolutely miserable. And it wouldn't even be worth the money to me.
Yeah, yeah, it's a special job. It definitely is. And if you can figure out like for those who like it and get to do it, it's just hard to explain.
Yeah, I see you guys down there in the comments. It's kind of hard to keep up with you. What's going on, Climber Climb?
Yeah, you and Clint are getting dialed in.
Oh man, it's been this way for years. It's just I don't record none of the stuff. It's just me and him, and I'm using my cell phone, man. I don't do no editing or anything like that. Like today, I was like, oh, that looks like a pretty cool spot to put my phone. Maybe I'll put a notch in there and see if anybody wants to watch this.
That's really, yeah, you need to get like a phone attachment that you can attach to like a belt. And then you can take the belt and strap it onto the tree. And
There
it'll
you
like,
go.
or maybe just a belt. You can take a belt and clamp your phone to the tree.
There you
But
go.
I don't want you to drop your phone either. 'Cause
Oh,
then you
dude.
can't get on the live feed.
They know me on the as on a first hand name basis at the cell phone store, dude. Like I probably go through 6 phones a year at
Really?
least. Oh yeah, I'm pretty hard on 'em. They don't last very long.
I have to buy a specific phone. And like if I buy anything else, I destroy it. They burn up before I break them. But yeah, I just get I won't make the change to an iPhone. I'm good with my Android.
Same here. I have an Android and I'm just fine with
Yeah.
it.
Uh,
See,
do you do do you do a lot of pruning, or most of your stuff do you just stick to doing removals and stuff?
all right, so I'm gonna tell you this is the ground pounder rule on trimming trees. The best way to trim a tree is about 1 foot from the ground.
I agree. I agree. Like I don't
So
like
so
doing.
I absolutely hate trimming jobs. I find a lot of the customers around here to be a little bit more nitpicky than I would care to deal with.
Hmm.
Um, we have oak wilt really bad around here, and that being systemic like that, it will spread to neighboring trees.
Yeah.
So we have predominantly oaks up here in Michigan. I mean, there is a lot of oaks. So I will not touch them oak trees in the summer months. And basically I reserve I take a lot of time off in the winter, man. Usually I shut down in October. I try to hunt and do what I want to do. I trap in the winter and fall, and then so I kind of fill that time in with trim jobs, but we stay I stay as busy as I want to be with removals.
Right on. Um, let's see here. What's going on, Jeff? Hey, Dan Kodos wants to know how's the truck going.
The truck, so the engine is completely out. I've got the engine bay all power washed out, cleaned. I spent about an hour and a half power washing everything yesterday. I'm waiting for the new engine to get here. It's supposed to be in at the shop tomorrow. I should be able to pick it up tomorrow. And then it'll be installation from there. So between family and I got graduation parties to go to and jobs and yeah, everything else, it'll get back in there eventually.
Right on. Right on. Yeah, that's you can see. Like, do you mind driving your big truck? Because I don't really mind sometimes, but it is
So
inconvenient.
so okay, I gotta ask. When you say my big truck, are you talking my bucket truck or are you talking my red truck? Well, my dually, because that's on my dually's on semi wheels, man. It's literally like it's the
Oh,
biggest dually in town.
Jesus. Okay. No, I meant the bucket.
I I drive the living shit out of that bucket, man. I bought that bucket in Whitehall, Maryland, and I drove it all the way back to West Michigan. And so I went there, I bought the damn thing. I went through the mountains of Pennsylvania. I went through Gettysburg, Pennsylvania with it and everything like that. So I mean, I had a hell of a trip with it right off the bat.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it don't bother me in the least to drive the thing around. I drive it around just for fun sometimes, to be honest with you.
Yeah, did you hear that? Let's see who all. I think I seen a couple new. What's up, David? And all right.
Was that David Lord?
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, brother?
Yeah, we did you hear that story? I think it was like it may have been a couple years ago, but like there was a guy on one of the Facebook groups and he was like sobbing about having all kinds of work, but he couldn't do it. He needed someone to come help him. He's like, I'm the man all the time, but then he's begging for help, and some people teased him. Well, he finally got somebody to come help him, so he's like, starts dogging on him in the comments, and being like, I got help coming. Well, this guy comes to help him, brings his bucket truck, and that guy falls a tree through the guy's bucket truck the first day, smashes it all the way to the ground. Then they're done. Like this guy trying to be nice, drove all the way there in his bucket truck. The first tree they do, I don't even know what they were thinking. They weren't using the bucket truck. They just parked it up underneath the tree.
Yeah, so I fly my own bucket truck. I'm gonna say I put 99% of all the trees down on the ground. Clint, as you well know, he does the vast majority of all the climbing. Clint absolutely loves to climb, and he's pretty damn good at it. So him being a lot lighter than me, and him just absolutely loving it, I do what I can from the bucket. I'll
So
pound him down. Go ahead.
does Clint have a YouTube channel? You should
Uh,
put a camera on his head.
so I believe he's got a couple videos on there. I've seen a few of them. But yeah, I don't know what all he's posted, to be honest with you.
Or you get a GoPro and slap it on his head and edit the footage later.
Oh
Uh,
man,
so we
that
can all see it.
all that man, all that editing a lot of you guys do with some of your content, man. That stuff's got to be time consuming, man. I can
Yeah.
I
You
I
could
can
do
really
raw videos.
appreciate it.
Yeah. Yeah, you could do raw videos though. Some people have good luck with the raw videos. I don't get any views when I put them out.
Right on. Yeah, I kind of started it, man, because I watched. Well, I've watched you. I'd comment on your channel, Dan, of course, and I'd be commenting on everybody's channels, and after a while, I'm like, nobody even knows who the hell am I? I'm just some
I,
guy.
it was cool though. It was cool. Like I knew you before I ever knew you, and then I got to know you completely over because you instinctively picture someone
Right,
when they're in the comments. You have a picture in your head of what you think they are, and it wasn't. I don't know what I was like. It's always just like, oh, okay, that's him. Now I
right,
see. So
right.
it was cool to go through that whole thing because it was like I knew you before you ever put a video out, and then now I get to know you like way more, like way more. So it's cool.
I've been having fun with it, man. That's pretty cool. I've been having fun with it. I certainly like the interaction, and it totally brings a different perspective to the job. You know.
Yeah, and is I think you'll do great as long as you just kind of stick to making stuff that you like. Like I feel like I've made a bunch of changes before because I got one or two comments, and I like decided to do and make videos and stuff, or push something out too quick, or so I dig all the shorts. I think it's very smart for anybody who's starting a YouTube channel, especially currently, to use the shorts because they get
Absolutely.
spread to way more people, and you're going to get a way wider audience. People that will never see one of your YouTube videos may stumble across your short, and that's the key. So
Yeah, 100%. You know, I agree with you on that. The YouTube Shorts, as far as subscribers is concerned, is where they've a majority of them come from. But the funny thing is, you know, okay, so I started my YouTube channel with I think like 7 subscribers. I'm just over 400 now, and it's still the same 10, 12, 14, 15 people that I'm talking to all the
yeah,
time. So I
yeah,
got, it's still a small group of guys, which is pretty damn cool. You
yeah.
know, a lot of these guys on here on my YouTube channel here, man, I got their phone numbers. We text back and forth. You know, we have phone call conversations and whatnot, and that's pretty neat, man.
It is cool. It is really cool. Like it's cool because I mean, I you can put someone on a pedestal that you've never met before, and like enjoy that person, and then if that person is nice to you and like is cool to you, that's unreal. It's like wow, that guy's cooler than I thought he was. So I've had a few of those since I started my YouTube channel, and I kind of try to push it as much the other way, like as I can do it, and maybe I help somebody else because I think myself like my content's always going to be a slow boil.
You
But
want an autograph, Clint? I'll give you one in the morning, man, and right at my coffee table.
take pictures and everything.
Yeah, yeah,
But to see some of these channels, you just don't know who's going to blow up. So I feel like everybody should give it a try because there's no rhyme or reason to whose channel blows up. There is if you want to play that silly game and like then you're not making stuff that you enjoy. But I'm not gonna research how to blow my channel up because I'm not gonna go through that stuff to do it. I don't care. I don't want a bunch of people watching my stuff that don't enjoy it. So
I I agree with that 100%, man.
I dig it though. It's wild. There's not a whole lot of big tree YouTube channels,
No, you
but
got like what? Guilty of treason.
I
Yeah,
think that's the biggest one.
he's what the biggest, I think, maybe, quite possibly.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I think he's like 500,000 subscribers, and August is, the he's over 100,000, but
Yeah, there's climbing arborist. He may have a bunch. I don't know. I've never looked. Like I've watched a lot of his videos, but I think he's British Columbia or something. But I
yeah,
think he's got a pretty big channel. Like I was searching stickers when I'm doing editing, and when I search on stickers, like he has his own GIF, and I'm like, whoa, that is awesome. I should have looked like I should have looked a lot of stuff up, but like to find out that he's got his own GIF on there on my editor that I get, that blew my mind. I was like, holy smokes, that's gnarly.
And Nee, you're absolutely right. Educated climber, man. I really like that guy. He has some very educational stuff. Go figure.
And a humble dude, just a
Yeah,
humble guy. You could tell.
he's certainly seems to be.
Yeah, yeah, he seems all right to me. You know, seems like a lot of people that I enjoy. They have a dry sense of humor. Like I think he has a dry sense of humor. He may come off as like not caring sometimes when he actually does. But yeah, that's just hey, I'm the same way. Sometimes you catch me and I'm just monotoned and just don't care. But
Yeah, I'm pretty genuine. And like what you see is what you get with me. I it's hard for me to hide emotions of any kind. I so I mean if
yeah,
I'm upset, people know I'm upset. If I'm happy, everybody knows. So
I swear it's not good to keep that stuff in. You keep that stuff
no.
bottled up, and you're gonna be the guy that blows up and goes to prison or something stupid. So yeah, I've always been. I enjoy my job because I if I feel like it, I may rough myself up that day, you know, and just beat myself up because I'm mad and just
Sure.
because I'm in that mood, you know. So if I need that, I can give it to myself. I don't gotta go find a guy at the bar and get hammered and go fight like I was when I was a teenager. So it's like
Oh,
a different way of getting the same, you know,
yeah.
the
I'm
anger
kicking
kind of
I'm
thing.
kicking my own ass, man.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Yeah, I've been there.
Get the educated climber, yeah, the video of my kids playing video games and get 1 million views overnight. Yeah, yeah, it's wild to see what on YouTube, Jeffrey. What gets views and what doesn't. Like, it blows my mind that anybody would watch another person play a video game. Like, and it's not like a lot of times there's not even a picture of them actually playing. It's just the video game.
Yeah, I've thought the same thing. I've caught my sons and I've got twin 13-year-old boys, and I go downstairs, and I said, "What the hell are you doing?" This
You
is
know
it.
what?
Yeah, they don't do much of it, but I was like, "You got to be kidding me!" And I asked them the same exact thing, and they said they enjoy it. So I mean,
Yeah.
they don't give me any problems. So it's the least of my concerns, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. If that's all you're dealing with, 100%. I'd give them a TV to cook it into. But it's funny that I don't get it because I don't play video games. But I guess I would understand if you play that game, and you enjoy that game, watching another person play it. I guess, yeah. I just don't.
Well, it's kind of like us, man. I can sit there, like, I was talking to Dan a while back, and he said that he was going through like 2 hours of footage editing a video. And I was like, dude, just put it out there. And he was like, man, I ain't gonna make a 2 hour video. And I told him, Dan, I will watch it, man. I might only watch it 15, 20 minutes at a time, put it
Yeah,
down and come back to it, but I'll watch that whole 2 hours of footage. And it's kind of crazy because I'll go, I cut trees all damn day, and then I come home and I'm sitting there watching Dan, or
yeah,
I'm watching you, or who knows who I'm watching, and
yeah.
I I, I pick things up or learn this or ask questions. Hey, what rope is that? What block is that? What ring you using? I just yeah, I love it, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think it puzzles a lot of people that when you're like, I love my job. I think a lot of people don't buy that, but it's true. I don't love it all always. There are times I hate it.
There are so me being the owner operator and the guy that's putting that out there putting in the work with Clint and everything. I'm bidding jobs. I got kids events, sporting events, wrestling, baseball, all that other stuff. It's a hell of a lot to juggle at times, and it certainly can be mentally straining. There's absolutely no doubt about that.
Damn, I just realized I've been wearing this with the vent closed. My head's been really hot, so that makes sense. That's stupid. I should have opened the vent a long time ago. I've been so hot working.
So I've heard those protos are actually pretty quite hot in the summertime in comparison with say I've been wearing a cask, but that super plasma, but I've not worn I've been tempted to buy one of those fanners.
Yeah, I don't have an issue. It's if you look, it's got the top here that vents. You can open it wide open, and
Yeah.
your head gets a lot of breathing from that, or you can close it off. But I don't know, man. I think for the comfort, I mean, I have a cask too. I feel like it was maybe hotter than
Okay.
than this one because I feel like all the space up in there too. There's a lot of space
I
from
see
where
that.
you actually at that is all up in there. There's
Sure.
quite a bit, and there's not a lot of surface that actually touches your head. So like a cask kind of touches a lot. Like there's straps over going like this. So you only really get connection on the strip on the top of your head, and
Okay.
that's about it. And then you get the thing around and the piece back here. So I
Now
think
how
that's probably key. Less surface area touching you should be cooler too, maybe, and lets some air up through. I don't know.
now that makes sense. Now how are those the earmuffs, man? Do they tend to hurt your ears after a while of wearing them?
No, 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 no. These are so comfortable. They are so
Okay.
comfortable. And my opinion, they got they were the best. Like I had cast ones. They didn't. My ears feel like they fit inside this. Like the cushions here. I don't know. It just feels like it covers my ear. The
Sure.
cast ones felt like they set on my ear.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, man. I got
Yeah,
big I got big ears
yeah,
too, Mike.
yeah, 100%. And so it's like, what the heck? That was kind of my issue with it. But the cask was so top heavy that I had to keep the earmuffs down at all times when I was climbing and stuff because I didn't want to lean over and it fall off because it would just pop right off because I wouldn't wear the chin strap. That stuff chokes me, dude. I can't handle it. I'll start spazzing. Like I have to take my ring off every once in a while because
Sure.
in my brain I think, what if it didn't come off this time? I'll cut my finger off to get that thing off there. I don't care. I'll lose my mind. I'm a bit of a schizo. So like I start thinking I got to pull that off. Same thing with the neck strap. It just starts bugging me, and I've tried and tried. I've left them really loose, but I think about it being there, and it starts to hit my throat, and I'm like, I don't know. I'm a weird dude, man. I don't know. I should stop admitting all this stuff live on the internet, but
No,
anyway.
you're good. So Billy, I am really, really liking that 500. I have found it to be extremely very smooth. I put that bark box on it, and I'm telling you what, Jack, if you Ali, I do what? Oh my goodness. Okay. So anyway, 500i man is it's a nice smooth cut and saw, and it starts easy. I don't even know why they got a decompression valve on it, to be honest with you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And Jeffrey, I just seen your comment there about your wife, man. I'm sorry, and prayers for you, buddy.
Really, really, I'm way behind. What's up, Eric? How you doing, buddy? I'm behind on comments. I'm trying to catch up. What's up, BR?
You're good, man. I just happened to see him coming in at the bottom there.
Thanks, James. Thanks, James.
So
So
where?
Rob, the climber, says that he loves the cask, the super plasma.
Yeah,
That's that's his go-to also. I love the photos. I really do. See, BR, I didn't agree with it. Like I didn't get it, but but then I was forced. I had to get a new helmet, and it was like, I'm gonna do it because my thing was like, I have big head, a big head, and like that covers more of my big head. So I'm like, I need like a big bucket for this big head. So I was like, that those are meant for guys like me, I guess. So
Sure.
I went with it. I didn't know if I was gonna like it, and I was really freaking on the fact that it cost so much. But after I got it and after I wore it, it is very light. I think it may. I think it's lighter than the cast. I had the cast for a long time. There's probably straight salt up in the paddings of that thing, like from the sweat. So that it may weigh that from just being disgusting. But it also stinks. But the
Can't you
cast is
wash the damn thing, Mike? Can't you take the stupid thing out and wash
once
it?
I hit that thing, it don't take it too long before it starts to stink again. I
Yeah.
don't have an issue with the cast for some reason. They don't do cloth; they do leather on theirs. So it's like a leather that doesn't soak up moistures and stuff. Like that thing just, I don't know. I can spray that one out really quick and I'm good.
Sure.
Cask, it wasn't that easy. Like I had to don dish soap, Breeze, and all. Like, because if not, I
Well,
could have stuck it in my truck and dude, I had mine forever and it was it was
well,
probably my fault.
maybe it's quite possible I've gone nose blind then, Mike, because I just throw I just throw it out every day, and it's all good, man.
Drive with the windows down. You're all right. Yeah, you'll be
Yeah.
okay.
Well. So yeah, my hard hat all lives on the bucket truck. Everything lives in the different compartments on the bucket truck. So
Well, it definitely you could be outside. If it gets ripe, you're gonna tell as soon as you pull it out. You're like, "Whoa, okay." Let me take it to the
yeah,
water hose real quick before I get
yeah.
going.
Oh
It
yeah.
is, but I think it. I'm gonna check next time I get a chance. Like how heavy are they in comparison? Because I almost feel like the cask may be lighter.
Yeah, I can't really say, and I'm sure I've looked at one point in time on a on the websites or whatnot, but I certainly can't recall it.
And I don't know which I like better: the half flip down visor or the mesh full visor.
See, I don't think I would like the mesh visor myself anyway, but that I really don't know, man. I don't know. The best thing for me to do is just get one, try it out. But it that's kind of an expensive gamble, but I think it'll pay off.
Yeah, I think you'll like it. I do. I I love the full mesh flip down because one of my fears is getting a squirrel in my face. I've had it happen enough times that stuff freaks me out because I'll go climbing up and then they don't jump out until your face level with the hole. You know that's the way it's or it comes straight down at you and just so.
So you're right, Jeffrey. Mayonnaise works absolutely awesome for getting pine sap off. Any oil-based product like that will get pine pitch off of you. They absolutely works great.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
No? Oh man, yeah, mayonnaise, Miracle Whip, freaking vegetable oil. Just don't use your wife's, olive oil or whatever.
That's crazy. I gotta try that.
Olive
I
oil was real good.
always got mixed gas. I just use it usually. But
I can't. So I used to be a mechanic back in the day, and I got to a point to where I got absolutely sick and tired of having automotive fluids all over me. So now I kind of have like a little freak out when that happens. I don't like gas and that sort of shit on me.
that's funny. Ali's comment. I just now made it to it. That shows you how far behind I am.
Yeah.
They show me that comment, but if somebody says shit, they will take it off and say it's hidden for review, and I have to click a button to read it. But that slides. I don't get it. I don't get it. YouTube's policies don't make
Well,
sense. sometimes.
Dan said it best, man. You're not a pro unless you got a troll.
Yeah, I mean, and Ollie, yes, yeah, absolutely, 100%, and mwah, so I don't know what he's looking for, but Jesus. All right, I got to catch up on comments. Good Lord, Craig, what's going on, buddy? I'm gonna jump to the bottom so we can I can keep up with everybody. All right, there we go. I have a full visor, BR says. Like the plastic shield, it fogs up all the time. I like the mesh better, in my opinion. Yeah, yeah, I think that was the issue that I had with the flip down visor. Is in the summer I would wear, or in the winter I would wear a face thing, a buff, and my when you breathe it goes up through there and fogs the glass up, and it was like that would get aggravating.
Yeah, I must admit in the cold that clear visor up there, it does fog up on me. I will admit that.
I don't remember that happening when I had a mirrored one though, because I used to have a mirrored one too, and I don't remember the mirrored one.
Jeffrey. Oh my God, Jeffrey.
I gotta see what's going on here.
uh, yeah.
Very good. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, I just thought you guys are crazy. I'm serious. Just worked. Last week.
Oh crap.
You guys are not. So is with your lineup installs, is it all steel, or do you use any Husky
Oh
those?
man. You're gonna make me talk about the dreaded Husqvarna, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. I
Okay.
got a lawnmower out in my front yard that I try to hide. That's a Husqvarna, but it is what it is.
So my first professional duty saw was a Husqvarna 372 XP, and I still have that saw, but I rarely use it. I used it hard for several years, and then it just kind of sat by the wayside. Several years ago, I got a 261, steel 261, and I know it's obviously not a 372. They're not in the same class, but that 261 is just so light, man. And I keep an 18-inch bar on it, and I just let her rip. I've cut down massive trees with that thing, and I don't know. So for it, just kind of once I got that 261, it pretty much just sat there.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah. When you find the right power to weight ratio in a saw, it's like that's my that's my that's my that's my piece there. Like the 362 is that for me. If I gotta cut anything bigger than my top handle, I'm usually going to the 362.
sure.
I
I
got an
had a
036 that's it sounds like it's gonna erupt every time I run it, but it just keeps running, so I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't, but
Well, keep her going. I've been
yeah.
eyeballing that. I've been eyeballing a 500i for several years. I was having a hard time making up my mind between the 462 and a 500i. I just kind of went with the 500i just simply because there's so much aftermarket stuff for that saw. It's insane, man. I mean, it's crazy. So I couldn't be left out of the crowd. I had to have me a built up 500i too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have one. That's why I had to change my name. They made me switch my YouTube channel because they're like, you don't even have a 500i. You no. So I mean, I got to get one. I got to get one
So,
bad.
well, they're just so damn expensive nowadays, man. I mean, is that the one that I just picked up is $1,800 out the door with a bar and a couple chains. Yeah, so
Right.
yeah, yeah,
Really? Yeah, that's
yeah.
a really good price.
Well, okay, but
I'm
still, it's
glad.
$1,800. That's a chunk.
Oh, you said 18?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my! I thought you said
yeah,
8.
1800.
Okay, that makes more sense. I'm like, you
Yeah.
got an amazing deal. Like,
Oh, you thought I said 800?
yeah.
Oh
I was like,
God,
damn, you
no.
stole that.
No, if I would have bought their shop if they were selling their prices, I would
Give
have
me
went
every
and
one
emptied.
of you got. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
You
have took
stole
everything
500.
then.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, as far as everything I run is steel. Nowadays, I've got the 372 just sitting in the garage. I've been thinking about maybe selling the damn thing, making somebody a good deal on it. But I don't know what I could get out of the silly thing. To be honest with you, it's
Yeah.
just sitting there collecting dust at this point.
It can be that savior saw one day, though. When something happens with the other one, you can reach to it and grab it. So I have a couple of those that stay in the truck. But Craig,
Yeah,
what'd Craig say here? Yeah, Craig, you don't have to know anything about trees. I think a lot of the hanging out here, I think you could get away with being a regular here and talking and leaving comments all the time and just chilling out. And you don't have to do tree work. I think you
what
just
are you
kind of
what are you
respect.
gonna give me $10 for, Craig? Why are
Ain't no
you gonna give
business.
$10?
I'll give you $10, gunpowder,
You're gonna give me $10 for what, Craig?
for your autograph, probably. It's at
Oh
least worth that.
man, that's pretty
I,
cool.
I mean, I charge 15. So,
Oh, for the saw.
oh no, he hit you with the saw? No.
Craig, you would just hurt yourself with that thing. It's kind of the rule is I don't think you could even start it, bro. So and if you can't start it, then I don't know how you're gonna run it.
Oh no, that is so funny. Jeez,
So has it been hotter than hell down there, Mike? Just this week too?
it's been miserable.
Yeah.
It's been miserable. Like I've been pretty busy as far as work as many hours as I can, but then you just end up a lot of times working those hours, lingering around the job site for another hour and a half or so, procrastinating, being like, man, I really do need to go back up and do this, blah, blah, blah. And instead of just getting in my truck and going home instantly and resting, I'll do that. And like, before I know it, it's the full day that I would normally have had. And
Sure.
so I don't know. I feel like I could use a day or so just chilling to kind of charge back up, mainly because of this heat. It's been crazy.
So to talk about something different here, and that's going to be down in your neck of the woods, and it's obviously a while from now. But have you thinking about going to the TCIA Expo this year?
Oh, I not actually I haven't. I didn't think about it. I mean, I could though. I mean,
Well, it's in St. Louis, man.
oh really?
I do believe it's in St. Louis this year. And
Wow.
so I was like, well, hell, that's in Mike's neck of the woods. I wonder if he actually was going to go to that thing. I'm considering going. I haven't made up my mind yet.
I may. I may. That sounds kind of cool. Yeah, I haven't. I didn't even know that. When is it? Usually.
So November, I was just looking at it today. It is November 16th to the 18th in St. Louis.
Cool. Cool. I mean, I think if it's just for me, I I don't know if I would definitely go. But if I knew there were a few people that wanted to kind of meet up and they were going, I would go. I would
Well,
go just to do something like that. But I think if it was just me and I'm making the decision, I'm such an introvert. Like I don't want to
oh,
go in there and be like, hey guys, look at
oh
me.
man, you got to come out of your shell, Mike. You got to
I
come out of your shell.
I hide behind my camera.
Oh yeah, I get it, brother.
So
Well, so I guess I'll have to come and kidnap you, huh? I know. I mean, I mean, I know where you live. I'll just show up one day
Yeah. Yeah,
and be
you could.
like,
Yeah, we definitely got to do some kind of get together then. I had no idea that was in St. Louis. So, dude, that's cool.
yeah, that ain't that. I don't think that's too. You're southeast or southwest of there a little ways, I believe.
Yeah, I go up there all the time. Like, we don't have, like, that's technically, that's where the mall is at. Like, we don't have a whole bunch of malls. We
Sure.
have a bunch of strip malls. I mean, that's all Missouri is a bunch of strip malls. But a legitimate mall, that's where we go. I take my wife and daughter all the time, take them up there. And it just so happens there's a skate shop that I used to be sponsored by up in St. Louis on Lindbergh. So I like drop them off at the mall and I shoot to the skateboard shop and go hang out there for a second, buy some stuff, and then shoot back over and pick them up and walk around the mall for a little bit. But yeah, it's not that far of a drive. I'd say hour and hour to an hour and a half. Not
Hell
far.
yeah. So I think it's like 9.5 hours for me to get to St. Louis.
Shoot, that's a drive.
Oh, that
That
ain't nothing. That's nothing, man. I just went. I just drove 9.5 hours to the other side of Iowa to look at a piece of shit truck. And then,
really.
yeah, oh man, the salesman lied through his teeth, dude. I got there and the truck was not at all. I looked at it for a whopping 1 minute and decided to leave.
Dang.
Yeah, I've drove all over this country buying equipment and everything, dude. The first
Dang.
stump grinder I bought, I went down to Arkansas to get.
That's hey. Sometimes you got to go grab the deal. I bought a 200, same way. Like I couldn't find one. People were paying like thousands almost for them, and I found one for like $350 in Stillville, Missouri. And I'm like, jumped in my car, took off to him. He ran a logging outfit, and he's like, "Here's my old saw. Here." I think he
Yeah.
even gave it to me for cheaper than 350.
Oh, if you can even find a 200T anymore, then you're doing good.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What have you heard anything about those? What are they? Holtz Pharma G11s or whatever? They're supposed to be those 200T clones.
I knew that they made one. Yeah, I have seen those. I
There's
don't
some
know a lot about
there's
them.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about them either, man. But I heard they're basically that it is a 200C. It's just in a different package is all. But who knows?
Yeah, because I know that like the book that I was reading, they said that basically steel had because I was like get on a kick where I just want to learn something. So I like started reading the book where steel's whole the whole thing about it. And apparently like during World War II, I think, um, they or was it one? Whichever one it is. I was more trying to learn about the chainsaws, not the wars. Okay. We were fighting Germany, and so like we didn't care. We said, "Oh yeah, all your patents." We just said, "No, anybody can have them." So I think that's when a bunch of these other companies kind of jumped their game up. It just was like all their stuff was free, to for other people to produce and make the same. And I don't know how that went afterwards, but I know that affected them big time.
Yeah, I'm sure. But truth be told, if I was going to get a different top handled saw, it'd be one of those little Echo 2511s. I have heard very, very good things about them. Peter runs the living crap out of his, and a lot of other guys do too. Especially when you make some mods to them, they're supposed to be some screamers.
Yeah, they seem like a pretty good saw. I am pretty partial to that 150 though. After I would say though, I get why people aren't the biggest fan of the saw originally because it's completely there's something wrong with the airflow, the backflow for the saw. Like it's being so restricted on air that it can't push and pull that piston the way it's supposed to. It's too much resistance and not enough at points because it's like not letting it push enough air out. So then it can't draw it back in when it sucks itself back up. So a bit of, I mean, I'm not a mechanic, but like the way that works to me, opening that up, letting a little more airflow out, like it was trapped. So it came down back in there. It was trapped in there and almost like it wasn't, I don't know. When I opened the saw up and allowed the air to flow, it performed completely different. It didn't make any sense. Like I've seen people do muffler mods when they get a saw. The first thing they do is take the screen out and they bore a little hole and they're like modified. Sometimes that is enough to make a difference though. And that
Oh,
150 is definitely it.
the little 193T that I have, taking the screen out and boring in that, opening up the exhaust, just that in itself made a big difference
I
in that
think they're
saw.
trying to restrict the air too much by trying to the spark arresters and everything. Like they're trying to be so safe that they're like killing the performance of their own saw. It doesn't make
Absolutely.
a whole lot of sense.
Right.
For emissions, I guess, basically, is they're adding extra chambers for the air to have to travel through to get over like in those mufflers and stuff. Like it should be a quick, easy flow back and forth to make
No,
the motor efficient, you would think.
yeah,
I
for
don't
sure. You put one of those bark boxes on your saws or whatever, and you want to talk about opening it up. There you go.
know. Yeah, see? Something like that. I don't know. Because I did the reason I have that saw is because Mike Frizzle or Frizzell, I always pronounce his name wrong. I haven't I don't see a bunch. He put a video out not too long ago. I don't know if everybody caught it, but he did put a video out not too long ago. But he bought the saw and didn't like how it worked. He's like, I'm not a fan. It don't run good. It's weak. And he's like, I was like, dude, that's crazy. Then I would think it'd be a good saw. He said, I'm gonna send it to you. Okay. So he sent it to me, and he was right. It was weak. It was very weak, and just seemed it just seemed like it wouldn't open up the rest of the way. It would stop. It didn't have passing gear or overdrive. It would stay in fourth. Just felt like it was wound out. Trigger all the way down. It didn't make any sense. And I didn't expect too much to happen when I did the muffler mod. I really didn't. But
Mm-hmm.
he gave me the saw. I'm gonna use it. I'll use it for pruning. It just won't be.
Sure.
And it just it first it torques in my hand a little bit, and I'm like, whoa, no way. So I started messing with it. I hope I didn't open it up too much. So like, luckily I kind of went small at first, and I'm like, well, I think it still feels a little bit off. I'm gonna open it a little more, and I feel like I got a little better. And then I'm like, I should open up more. And I'm like, hang on, that's me in a nutshell. I always gotta keep going till you break it. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I'm gonna leave it there. So I didn't do any more, but I mean, it it seemed to get better and better the more I opened it up. So I don't know.
You
I'll
know,
see what
you're
I do.
you're talking about opening things up. I got a gripe about steel for a second, man. These fuel caps that these guys have on there with the twist release. So the other day I went to open my 201 to see how much gas was in that thing, because I was like, well, I'm probably running low on gas. Let me check. And it was after a while of me running it, and it was hotter than heck out when I did this. But I was up in my bucket truck, dude. I opened up that saw, and that completely sprayed my face with gas. I
Okay.
I was up in the bucket truck screaming for Clint. Because I had gas all over my face, man. I didn't want to open my eyes or anything. So I get down to the bottom, I lower the boom as fast as I could. Clint gives me a couple bottles of water. I dump it all over my face and everything. I don't know what the hell their problem is when it comes to that, but
I don't.
if I got one complaint about steel, that's what it is.
I would have to say the other one is the air filtration system. I don't know the 500i. I know that it got better with the 362. Um, but I just the 201, the 170s, the 290s, all them salts, they get too much sawdust inside on that air filter. It should not be getting that much in there. Like
I agree.
it, you use a husky and you're not cleaning that thing all the time. You don't have to like you do a steel. But a steel, if you are not cleaning, especially a top handle, if you are not cleaning that every time, you'll burn that solid, 100%. So that's that would be my biggest gripe with them is like how have you not figured this out by now? Does the saw need to breathe that much that it sucks that much air, sawdust in? Maybe. I don't
Yeah, I
know. I'm
don't know.
not a mechanic. I'm the silly guy that uses it at the top of the tree, but I don't know.
So I heard those the max flow air filters help that as far as on the 500 eyes are concerned.
Right.
That's the next thing I plan on doing to mine is putting the max flow air filter kit on it. But
Yeah, I've seen a lot of guys that swear by those. They enjoy them. So yeah, I definitely definitely seem like they do the job. Everybody that uses high performance stuff end up using those. So
sure. Hey Billy, do you happen to know the name of that company that makes those gas cap replacements, buddy?
do you have issues with it leaking ever?
So the not the gas cap, but I can't tell you how many damn times I've had a leg full of bar oil.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think the backspin trick. You got to get used to the backspin trick. Like I do that every time I put one of them caps on. I put it on and I spin backwards first. Then I wiggle it, like I'll pop it off and put it back in. Then it torques down. But if you don't do that, sometimes it tricks you and makes you think you locked it and it didn't. The flapper goes down, the saw goes on your leg, and your leg gets very slick out of
yep,
nowhere. So
yeah, it's enough to make a guy upset.
yeah, I'm not a fan, man. Not a fan. Especially when it's not like I would rather it be me that did it every time. But usually when I get a leg full of it, it's because I sent my saw down. Someone else filled it, and I pulled it up, and it did it then. So I don't know. I would rather it have been me that I can blame myself, and I'm not so mad at somebody else being a knucklehead. But yeah,
It happens.
yeah, yeah. I've had a little bit of an issue with sometimes you'll lose some power and stuff like the seal on them caps can can go bad or to roll off down part of the threads and not be aligned right. So sometimes if that seal isn't placed in the right spot, you'll get a little bit of leaking too. I think that's what was happening to me. I was using the 201 and it was running really, really bad. Still is. And Greg Brown told me something that I should have thought of already. But it was leaking gas and the muffler was red cherry hot and it was leaking gas right down like on it. And so I was starting to freak because I didn't want to hang it up on my saddle, get to doing something, and before I know it, I'm full fledged engulfed,
Yeah,
gas.
that would
So
be good.
yeah, I started spazzing a bit, but then I popped the cap off, and that that little gasket around there had wiggled down, and so I just lined it back up, spun it, and then put it back on there. And I don't think it's leaked since, but Greg told me, "When's the last time you changed a spark plug?" Yeah, yeah, that's probably it. That's probably it. I feel so stupid when Greg does that stuff to me all the time. He's that guy. He's like my dad. He'll say something and make me feel dumb as hell. I'm like, oh man, you give me another week, I'd have figured that out. But he saved me
Yeah,
some time.
I've seen Greg Brown in the comments. He appears to be a wise man.
He is. Greg's the man. He is.
Oh,
He's
hey, there he is, right there. What's up, Greg?
yeah, he's cooler than the other side of the billet. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do a few more questions to you. Um, let's see.
Hmm.
Favorite climbing device?
Honestly, I'm gonna have to say my Unisender. It's
You?
it's it has made me feel safe in the tree. I'm a big guy. Um, there's not a lot of I didn't a lot of the hitch cord that I was on. I would have a lot of setback on it, and I don't like setback um at all. I feel like once I put a device there, that's where it should stay. And so I guess my favorite climbing device is gonna have to be my Unisender, just simply because it makes me feel like, because like I said, when I get my climbing gear on and everything and saw and whatnot, I'm 250 pounds, man. And that thing feels absolutely rock solid with it, whether it be SRT, DRT. I really like being able to just switch it over so quickly and on the fly, So I'm going to say that.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think as I do this, I think it's going to be a very common answer. I do. I think most people, if they've used the uni, end up liking it. And usually those guys, from my experience, the ones I see that they've tried other devices. It's not that that's the only thing they've tried. They've tried other stuff, but they tried that, and maybe it's the versatility. That would be a selling point for me.
So for me, I want to have a device that I can do DRT or SRT. So if I'm going up, as I'm advancing up a tree, I like to throw, my rope up and over and help me get my big butt up the tree in a DRT like that. But if I'm choking, for example, if I go up, say, a white pine, and once I get all the limbs off of it, and I'm going to have to work the spar down, I want to be choked off to that tree, but I also want to be able to descend. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't want to have to run a friction saver, so I can run it around, tie the rope back, tie a running bowline or something like that back onto itself, and then in the event that I need to bail out of that tree, I can at any time.
Yeah,
So,
I like Dan the Tree Man's hitchhiker, or yeah, the hitchhiker. That thing looks pretty cool.
so I've got a Hitchhiker XF from Richard. So I've got one of them. I used that for a while, and I really enjoyed it. I liked it, but I wanted to get the Unisender. I got the Unisender. I really enjoy that one more than the Hitchhiker. So I gave the Hitchhiker up to Clint, and that's what he's on right now.
It
So
seems pretty cool. It seems really compact and small too, but I think that's probably the reason I kind of like the Uni so much too. It seems so small and compact, and
it is, but I, I haven't played around with it yet. But the slack tending, they need to figure something out with the slack tending on that, man, because compared to say a hitch climber pulley setup or a zigzag or a rope runner, I mean, it's those they far exceed slack tending abilities versus the Unisender.
well, I've seen them little like springs. A lot of times they're on rope grabs. Most rope grabs, when you take them apart, they got this little spring in there that twists, and it's got a little rod that comes off. One of those with a couple skateboard bearings on it,
Yeah,
and they sell those. Somebody did. I don't know who it was,
it was
but
Rion Rounds had them on his channel.
okay,
Uh,
yeah, and I think
I
Well,
think
thank you.
August had a mod like that too, because I think Damien's uni is mounted like that.
Yeah.
He's got something on there like that as well.
Yeah, when you get used to that slack tending, that quick whip up of slack tending, you want that. Like, and you try to use it sometimes, and that's the reason I didn't like a taut line is that I had to pull and slide and pull
Sure,
and slide. Ah, that got so aggravating. But at the same time, the taut line, if I'm picking what's been the best, it's that always. It beats all the other stuff. It gets the job done. But I may use it once or twice. I have one scenario that I find myself using it all the time, where you're climbing a tree that's got a big V up in it, huge, and so you're tied up in over here, and you go way over here, and you need to transfer back over, and instead of coming all the way down, all the way back up, I'll tighten my line up here and take my tail, take it, and do a do a top line real quick and
sure,
cut myself out and just transfer over real quick.
yeah,
I don't like slamming. I do that too. I've done that too many times, and
yeah.
I
That
don't
ain't no
enjoy
fun,
it.
man.
No,
Nobody likes to get slammed into a tree.
too old for this. Like, I think I did something and tore my something up with my forearm. My forearm is jacked up. I don't know. I could barely hold the saw today. So
That ain't no good.
getting old.
Yeah, it happens. It catches up with everybody.
It's not getting any easier, damn it. But it is what it is. Let's see. If you was to give advice to somebody getting into tree work, what would it be? One tip. It's a tough one because I said it to myself the other day after I said it to Jeff, and I'm like, I don't
So
know. And I'm gonna make people have to decide this lives. So
don't. So it might sound corny might sound corny, but if I was, because this can carry over to a lot of things, of course. But don't give up. Just don't give up. You're If you're just starting off, I mean, you'll go on jobs, you'll bid them, you'll have customers who are just cheap. They're just cheap, and no matter what you said, they weren't going to do the damn job. I hate to say it like that, but it's the truth.
yeah,
You'll bid jobs, and people will make you start questioning yourself and your ability. They'll tell you, oh, another guy will do it for this or that or whatever. Stick to your guns. Learn. I mean, it's a whole lot of things. It's not just one thing,
yeah.
but you stick to your guns, man, and don't give up, and just keep going, man. Keep going.
That goes for same like even the tree climber as he gets up into the tree and you get to that one part where like the crack and you're like, I can't. What am I gonna do? Like, how am I gonna do this? And some guys, usually the guys that make that crazy big mistake, they sit there for a few minutes thinking, what can I do? And before taking too much time to do anything, they said, cut it.
I could what
They give up already. They give up on trying to be creative, figure out how you can do it safely. They say, I'm going to take the risk right now. No,
when
no,
I
no.
feel when I find myself in a situation, because it happens often, man. I'll get up in a tree and I'll start looking at it, and things kind of change. You get up there, and I'll start getting frustrated, and I'll get to a point to where I'm doing what you said. Oh, it'll work. It'll work.
Yep.
If I learned several years ago, I just stop. If I got to go home, I will. Don't.
Sometimes
It's
you
not
need to rethink it.
you. You absolutely have to follow your gut in this business, and if you don't, real bad things can happen.
That's kind of why I'm kind of bugging on today, because like my gut now says, "What the hell are you thinking?" But apparently then I was okay. Like I was so I had some like personal stuff happen, and like I just, dude, I just wasn't like my right thinking wasn't there. Or I don't know if I would have done it. I don't think I don't think it was a good decision, but
Well,
maybe I was lucky today. And I'll
uh,
just take a lucky day and just try to learn from it.
for sure, man.
Well, I tell you what, I got a feeling that we're probably gonna have to do this many more times. And maybe
That'd
we
be-
come up with a different topic each time. Maybe we don't do an interview. Maybe we just go topic wise, where we sit here and we talk with everybody and just go over whatever and just run through the thing. That way, I like doing this with somebody that kind of will keep up with the comments too, because I mainly my lives are just talking with you guys. I try not to do a lot of lives where I don't interact. So I feel
oh,
awkward.
dude, we all love the interaction, Mike. That's why we're here, man. That's we're you see us all in the comments. There's times we're just having our own little conversation.
Love it. I love it. And I'm so used to it. Like my comment section, I'm going through it. I'm like, nope, nope, nope. Okay. Nope, nope, nope. Okay. Like I can see the conversations. And I'm like, I'll read about part way into it. And I was like, nope, he's talking to Bridge Runner. Okay. And nope. So my brain is already adjusted to it so much. I think it's awesome that the people in the comments know each other and
Sure.
be dialogue there while I'm doing something else. So it's just cool, dude. I think we
All
got a
right.
pretty
Yeah.
cool group.
Hey, Peter, Greg Brown, Dan. Yeah, you guys are great, man. I hope you guys have a good evening.
Yeah, dang, I didn't even get a chance to say anything. I'm so far behind. I'm a knucklehead.
Oh man, you're slacking. It's the Ground Pounder live tonight.
I'm telling you, yeah, it's your fault. That's what I'm gonna say. I don't have Dave here, so I'm gonna have to use you.
I'm uh I'm used to it. I'm a glutton for punishment.
That's what Dave said today. He says, "Oh, you're gonna be mean today, aren't you?" Because he knew everything that was going on, and I started laughing. He started laughing. He's just joking, but he's like, "You're gonna be mean to me today, aren't you?" And I'm like, "What?" And thank God he laughed. I thought he was being serious. I'm like, "Don't even start." And but he just started making me laugh and luckily, because like I was just, I don't know. I get
Yeah,
too lost in
you
stewing about stuff. So
you had that look in your eye, man.
yeah, yeah, I know, I know. I gotta. I think that's probably my issue. Like I lock into work a little too much. I'm a little too blunt and raw. I kind of learn to communicate a little better while doing my job. That's probably my something I can definitely change. But at the same time, I wish that everybody knew half the shit that goes on because it's all so entertaining. But like the stuff I can't put on YouTube, like that's the part that I want to put on YouTube because Dave is like give him give him time to sit there, and before you know it, he's telling you a story that will blow your mind.
Well,
That's
let
the that's kind of
you're
that guy Dave is. He's funny, dude.
well, you're gonna why is we demand Dave then?
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have to get some of it. I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
get to just start putting it on because
yeah, that would be good times.
yeah, some of the stories like I had the kid working. Jake was working with me today, and with Dave, and he just would start laughing. I was like, you can't. Like sometimes I want to cut Dave off, but if you just give him a little longer, let him get the punchline out, it's worth it. It's worth it. Like you say some crazy stuff, but don't cut him off because it can get crazier. Like so, as much as I like Dave, he's pretty entertaining sometimes, man. I gotta start putting some of it on there, but he's something else. we, I think I have, um, I think I'm pretty close to having the next video, the second part of that job done. And the videos are just the way I ended up having. I still can't get my GoPro to connect to my phone. Something happened. It won't work. So I had to take my SD card out of my GoPro, put it in my phone, which is almost impossible nowadays because you can't get the little thing off there. And I lost the little tool I had. I have one of the little tools for your phone that they give you a little key and it pops that little side plate open.
Sure.
Where that thing's at. Man, I spent an hour with a needle trying to pop. I finally popped it off there. I put my SD card in, pushed it back down on there, and realized, man, I'm gonna have to do that every time. I don't know
So
if I gotta get another one of them tools, but it
so I
worked.
got I know we're gonna be wrapping it up here pretty quick. So without saying too much, I have a secret weapon coming to assist me on this on these large oaks.
Really
And yeah, the unveiling will be soon, but
awesome.
I'm gonna keep it kind of quiet for now. But a few people I'm thinking might be surprised what Ryan comes up with here. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. I was looking at that and I'm like, that split looks very unnatural. Like, it doesn't look right. It almost looks like there
to
was a
me, it looked like that's a massive limb, dude. That's a
yeah,
real.
but it has to be. It doesn't. The seam is too big. It's almost like the tree split at one time and it
And
healed
then
up.
yes, and then it
Yeah,
started. That's exactly what I think happened, Mike. Is I think it got a lot of wind torque on it. It
yeah,
split. I
yeah.
think the wind torque is what started it. It split itself open, started to heal, and then what was still open is just started to rot. Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, so because the only thing that's even good up there is the cambium, and that's it, man.
But yeah, tree can be 80 something percent hollow and technically still be completely healthy.
Yeah,
It's wild, but it's not structurally sound. So
no,
that those rules don't work with climbing it. But the way it looked, it got so clean when it got above that crack. It looked so solid up there. But that's
it
scary when you're dealing with
it's
solid on top of hollow. That's that's a wild combination.
and if I had to just guess, I'm gonna say there's at minimum 2 to 3 tons of timber up above that crack.
Yeah, I was gonna say definitely if it did get climbed, I would have to slap a couple ratchet straps on that. Especially since you got the bucket you can get there. Maybe a few ratchet straps around that part to keep the seam from opening up. But I
It's
don't
not a
know.
bad idea. That's not a bad idea. I mean, it sure as hell can't hurt.
Yeah. It's just still you're dealing with I hate that combination with solid wood on top of being held by something hollow because
Absolutely.
um,
So the tree, the we got a tree that's closest, that's fairly close to it. I've kind of left that one alone for now, so I can use that either as a alternative tie-in point or a gin pole for a gin ringing pole or something like that.
so it goes up and over like this, and there's another stem back here, right? To it.
Yeah,
Have you thought about span rigging from that stem to the other tree? And
it's possible to do like that. The problem with a span rig like that is we got to get it. If the house is right underneath of it,
okay.
so it's got to come out and swing away from the house.
So you're
So
looking to get as much away as you can. So
yeah, we'll get it out of there, man. It just takes a little head scratching, you know. But I I tell I don't rush. I don't rush my jobs. When I get on a job, I don't even tell people how long it's going to take anymore. people will ask me all the time. They say, "Well, how long do you think it's going to take?" And I say, "I don't know." And they say, "Well, what, a couple of days?" And I'm like, "Yeah, maybe." You, you, you
If
be,
everything works out right, but I don't know if you've ever done tree work. It usually never works out right. So
well, and I put too much pressure on myself. If I tell you I think I'm going to have it done in 2 days, 3 days, or whatever, then I feel like I somehow have to meet that obligation. And
yeah, it's called just being a man of your word. That
yeah,
nowadays it can be a troublesome task, and job to take on because there's not very many of them.
yeah,
And
for
if
sure.
you're still doing it, you're working probably twice as hard as the next guy. Because if you do give a promise, I'll break my back trying to keep it. So
I
I try
agree.
not to give too many because I'm going to do that.
Yeah, and so Billy, you said that's exactly what I do. I'm done when I'm done. And with that being said, and I'm sure it can burn me. It hasn't yet in all the years that I've been doing this, but I take zero money down until the job is 100% completely finished.
Yep, I agree. I think contractors, a lot of contractors just give a horrible name to this. Um, I've always said like when you say it looks great, it's time. That's when you push.
Yeah. And oftentimes I've learned also, because like I said, I used to do fall cleanups, spring cleanups, all this other kind of junk. But when I go up to the customer, I usually use the words, "Well, I think we're done. You want to take a look?" I don't even say I'm done.
I just
I'm
had to
done.
keep getting there.
I'm done when I go to the door. I'm done, and I know for a damn fact there ain't nothing they're going to be able to come out and even point out. But I go up to them and I just, like I say, I just simply say, "Well, I think we're done. Would you like to take a look at it?" And then they can approve of the job, and then they can pay me, and then I'll be on my merry way, and they're happy.
Yep.
Like
Some
I'm
people will
the
let you get out of there and not be happy and then talk bad about you. So you're preventing that from happening by doing it that way.
You're absolutely right. I prevent that from happening. Uh, yeah. I've as far as like Google reviews or whatever, man. I got the competition absolutely smoked around here when it
That,
when it comes to that. So
that can be the best. I don't care what advertising you do. You treat people good and they talk good about you. You don't give them anything that they can say bad about you. That stuff passes. Like Greg there says, 32 years he's never taken money down before a
yeah,
job.
and there's no need for it, Greg. There's like if in my opinion, there's absolutely no need for you to take money down until the job's done. Now I have on, however, if times are tight, as far as, I gotta make payroll or I'm freaking broke for whatever reason for repairs or whatever, I have done half down when the tree's down. So
Yeah,
once I get the tree down on the ground and pretty much the danger per se is out of the question, I'll accept half down, but that's actually pretty rare that I do that.
yeah, and I hate I don't even like I hated when people would pay me before I was done.
Yeah, me
I
too.
hate like
Yeah.
I hate it because then my motivation is and like then when I finish, there's nothing like so you got like they gave it to you the day before or something like there's nothing at the end. It's like okay,
How many
and then there are
clients?
all those ones that are never satisfied too. But at the end, and they get you for a little extra. It's like, oh no, why did I should just walk away. I
How
should have
many?
walked away.
I You probably don't get it a lot down there, but dude, I do a lot of work for clients. I don't even know what they look like. I never see them.
Really?
Oh God, yeah. There's all kinds of clientele that I've never even met these people, man. They call me up with an address. I go there. I call because there's a lot of vacation home. We got Lake Michigan here. People come from all over the world to vacation in my area, and so I've got customers in Canada, Florida, Chicago, Ohio, Indiana, New York, all over the place, and yeah, I don't ever even see them, man. Yeah, I go to there, I do their job, I send them pictures, and then they send me a check in the mail.
That's awesome. Like I think another big tip for anybody that kind of does this is like Greg said here, he brought up a good point. A clean job site is a happy job site. I've
Yeah.
I've never gotten more compliments. I do some unreal, almost inhuman things sometimes up in a tree. People don't give a damn. They're like, "You guys do a great cleanup job."
Yeah,
I'm like,
and
"Hey, what about how cool I looked up in that tree with the chainsaw and I was on them ropes and I swing it? You seen me do all that, didn't you? You're not gonna the cleanup,
yeah. So like
like
Clint's saying down there in the comments, we make a little bit of a mess, it gets cleaned up. And we make a mess, we clean it up. I will not trip all over sticks. I will not deal with my ropes getting tangled in crap. I can't deal with it. It's too much. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine.
yeah, it's like those. You try to keep even if you're gonna leave and there's stuff there. I have to arrange it. Like it's got to be situated and like stacked. Like say we're like not gonna haul a certain little bit of brush off until the next day. Like it can't just sit in the yard. I want it put in a pile. The yard rake. What if this person wants to mow their lawn first thing in the morning or tonight?
Right.
Yeah. So I'm the same way. Like
We
and then the next day you're happy you did it because you're like, oh, we don't got to do all that. We raked
right.
and we do. It's hard to
Yeah,
get
I
that.
do. We do the same thing, man. We freaking take care of everything, dude. There's You're only as good as your last cleanup. And like you said, you could come out there and you could work magic with a tree, but if you leave a mess, man, everybody will know.
They don't care. Yep, everybody will know because like I think 90% of the people like I'll get when you get a recommendation, they're like, "Yeah, she said you guys did a great cleanup," and I'm like, "That's okay, cool." Every now and then, they're like, let's say you know what you're doing. I'm like, "Yeah, I've done it a couple times," and I gotta watch that because some people take me serious, and I'm
Oh,
like, "Oh
dude,
no, no, no!" Like I've done this my whole life, like
I'll
I not my bad.
I'll do some crazy freaking negative rigging or whatever where I'm like dog leashing on the freaking entire top of a tree or whatever, and
That's fun.
yeah. So anyway, I'll get up there and we'll dog leash this freaking tree, and you got, oh my god, a giant canopy hanging there. I look over and the customer's watching, and they're like, "Oh my god," and I'll look right at them. I can't tell you how many times I'm like, "Yeah, this is my first time too."
I was in the top of a little maple. Well, it was pretty good size, but it was a straight pole, went up to a pretty good little canopy. But it was tall, and I couldn't get all the way to the top of it. I had that little 60-foot bill jack. I grabbed a big toe strap that I had that was pretty, real thick, and I leashed the entire thing. The entire thing. I put my notch in. I hooked it up. I put my notch in, and I could have put my notch a different way, but like I pointed it at the house, but the tree was kind of leaning that way. I'm like, I'm gonna take advantage of that. But as I as I look over at the customers in the front yard, and I get it all set up, and I kind of go to reach down, and I think pick up maybe my drink or something out of the bottom of the basket. I take a drink, and I catch him out of the corner of my eye, and I could see him being like, he's frozen, and whatever movement he was doing, he's frozen in it, and he's like,
What the hell is this guy doing?
yeah. I fired my saw and I whipped my head around. I said, check this out. And I cut it and sent it at his house. He goes, I heard him saying, no, 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 no. And he grabbed and smashed it back into the tree. And that little noodle of a pole, I mean, it went nuts. But then I went down and I diced it up and threw it in a little pile. He said, I've never seen something so cool in my life. He says, that was amazing. He said, I was terrified. I thought you just destroyed my house. I said, no, no, like I kind of knew what I was doing, but it had to have looked nuts because he was on the front of the house and the pitch of the house made it look like I was definitely going to hit the house, but I was way at the back. The pitch dropped heavy. There was more room than he was thinking, but all he was waiting for was he put his hands on his ears, waiting for the crash boom, and it didn't do that. And he walked around the side of his house, and you could tell as he's walking at an okay pace at first, and they become stomps where he's pissed. Like I can't believe this idiot. It's got the gall to look at me and be like, watch this too. And he got around there, and the whole tree's hanging there. And he come around, he looked, and he's like, and
Yeah.
I said, that did it look crazy? He says, yeah, yeah. Well, dude, that was nuts. I'm like, yeah. So I've had to do that a lot. Like that Phil Jacks, what 60, 65 foot, that'll get you halfway on a lot of stuff. And you kind of got to get creative. So
Yeah. Amen. Then for me, I get down and I tell Climber Clint he's up, and then I play groundsman.
how tall is that bucket?
So it's 55 feet. So that's to the bottom of the platform. So you figure me in there 60 foot working height. And what's really nice about that one is it's a rear mount truck. So when I'm up at max height, I probably have 15 foot of clearance behind my truck still.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, a lot of times like you're beating the truck up. That's cool.
No, no, we do pretty good. My last one, I had a Tico boom on my last truck. And when I was max height on that, the truck was directly underneath you. I mean, you'd beat the crap out of that truck.
I've seen a lot of them that are like that. It's pretty crazy. What's that
Yeah,
turbo?
that's why I ended up driving so far for my truck. Plus, it's 4-wheel drive too, so I can get the thing in just about anywhere.
Really?
No, yeah, yeah.
That's
Last year, man, we were doing a job in town, and it's our town's pretty old, so it's got old septic tanks in the backyard of some of these places. Well, anyway, that I pull in the, I always ask people if they know if they got tanks, underground sprinkling, any of that crap. The guy's like, "No, you're good, man. Go ahead and pull in here." So I pull in with my bucket truck, and the right steer axle went down into somebody's old septic tank that didn't get filled in. My truck's just sitting on the ground, front tires completely buried in a hole. I put that thing in 4-wheel drive and just back right out, man.
whoa. That is cool.
Yeah, that thing's a beast.
It sounds awesome. Like I didn't know you could even get one with full drive. That's
Oh
crazy.
yeah. Yeah, it's air, it locks in with air. I just get out and they have an electric switch on them, but the switch went bad and we just put a air locker on it basically. So when I need 4-wheel drive, I just get out and turn a ball valve and it locks it in.
That's awesome. Greg just cracked the code to how to take care of a tree.
Yeah,
But
I seen that.
yeah, 60-foot bill jacks
Yep.
with a 40-foot ladder in the basket, 100
Oh,
foot.
I mean, yeah, that'll do the job, Greg. I mean,
Sounds to me.
I gotta believe that's going to be ANSI and OSHA compliant too. Like,
Actually, he says I accidentally got it wrong. He actually said 80, and now he corrected himself on
yeah,
everything.
yeah, I seen that. Well,
He was
we're
trying to just be funny, but I
us
imagine
tree guys. Us tree guys, man, we ain't known for doing good math on paper or anything like that. We just do it in our head.
yeah, that's the only thing. Like I can run numbers in my head. That's about it. I'm okay at that. Um, Dan Kodo brought up a good point.
What's that?
How often do you run into people that they're like, "I want it drop and leave"? Wow, that's way more tree than I thought was ever like. Is there more than one tree there? I'm like, I told you it's twice as much of a mess when it's on the ground.
I
Standing.
I have been to cutting leaves, and 2 years later, that mess is still there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So So the biggest thing that I ask people on cutting leaves is normally I'll be looking some of these trees, man, they'll be like 42, 50 plus inches DBH, you know. And I'm like, okay, so if I put this tree on the ground, you got somebody that can cut that up. And it's almost always it's like, well, my husband's got a chainsaw or my buddy's got a chainsaw. And I'm like, okay, all right, fine. So I put it on the ground and
But
that's
you
their
know how that
problem.
works. What man is going to say, you're sitting outside and you're drinking beers with your buddies, okay? And let's say that those people that you dropped the tree for that's big, and she says her husband, like, he's got a chainsaw. So they're all sitting there one night, and they're all drinking, and his buddy's like, "Why is that big log in your yard?" He's not going to admit, I have a sissy chainsaw and I can't cut it with it. He's going to talk shit about you, but he may not give your name if he's a good guy. He's just going to make up a lie about how the tree guy was supposed to do it because I've heard it before. And it's like, get out of here. Like, that
I
lady
make
told
it.
you not supposed to do that? No, 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 no. And I've went back and been like, did you tell somebody I was supposed to haul this away? No, no. Okay, right on.
I
What?
when I'm dealing with a customer like that, man, I try to get all questions and anything out of the way before we even start. If I'm going to leave a cut and leave job, then I'll ask them, do you need me to cut it into firewood? Does it matter how big these pieces are when we get it on the ground? Cut and leave, does that mean I'm leaving it where it lays or do I got to move it? Because if I got to move the wood even 15 feet and I need to use my loader, it's might as well put it in my dump trailer. That's more or less a removal at that point.
Yeah, I don't think people get that a lot of times, but yeah, I think that's definitely a big one there is being very, I would say, be specific in what it is that you're going to do and
Mm-hmm.
how you're, maybe not so much how you're going to do it, but what you are going to do. That way there's no like question afterwards.
Yeah,
Really.
I ask customers often. So before I'll go out, I'll look at their job, and then I will always ask them, what sort of job are you looking for? Because I do everything from putting them on the ground to full removal, including stump grinding and literally anything in between. So what do you want?
Yeah. I mean, there's a list of things that you can do to get the money down. And I'm sure every tree guy's got his list of, if I'm not doing this, what I don't do, I don't charge for. I mean, I've just never been that guy that could build a retaining wall and make a bunch of money off the people by overcharging them for the bricks. Like, I usually am like, if I'm gonna build somebody a retaining wall, I'm like, buy your go buy the rocks, or I'll
Yeah,
bring in the steel.
I'm making my money on the labor.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's what I feel like I'm doing. But I've worked for some cats that, woo, they're wild. They're wild. It's eat at a guy who's got a conscience and has a heart, and like that's what ate at me all the time. The stuff that this dude was doing to people was so shady. I felt so bad sometimes, but like all I could do personally was give a good job tree work wise. Do as best as I can for the people with the tree. The cleanup I didn't have nothing to do with, and the way he dealt with them afterwards, or I don't know, I don't know. Some of this shit, crazy, crazy.
So
Man,
so who so who do we still got on here in the comments right here? So we're oh my goodness, we're an hour and 40 minutes, Mike.
I know. I just looked up. Time flies when you're having a good time.
Oh yeah.
Um, I am gonna have to cut this off though, and go get me something to eat. I'm sitting here, and my stomach is growling. I am starving. Um, who do we always ask what they're having for dinner?
Well,
Who
it's
is
usually
is it?
me and Billy kind of started that. So
All right,
uh
Billy. What is for dinner? I'm tired. Come on. I gotta go later, guys. See you, Greg. Hey, thanks for hanging out, buddy.
And what I want to know, Billy, is did you get any birthday cake, buddy? All right.
Birthday
Yeah, birthday
cake.
cake. Awesome.
Hey,
There you
okay.
go.
All right, ground pounder. Let's do this again. Let's do this often. I like this, but I think we should. I wish there was like a page that would do news for tree work, and we could just talk about everything that was on it, and just go through the stuff. That
Well,
would be fun.
start it up.
Yeah,
Start it up, bro.
maybe check the drip line or something. I don't
Yeah,
know.
so this is the only sort of social media you'll find the ground pounder on, man, is just on YouTube. That's it, man.
I do Instagram only because I make skateboard content, and no one wants to watch it on YouTube, so I put it on Instagram. So
Sure.
I put it on my YouTube for a little bit, and my subscribers said, I'm like, oh no, hang on, I'm gonna put it back on. I promise, guys. So they done like bullied me into taking my skateboarding away already. So I do what the people say, and that's it. I'm just that guy. That's I'm afraid to go against the grain. So
Well, you, as you well know, you got my number, you on my shirt there, and so anytime, Mike. This is a pleasure, man. I'm flattered that you're to have me as a guest on here, buddy.
dude, this was awesome. We're gonna do it again soon, guys. Thank Ground Pounder for hanging out. Check his channel out. Go subscribe. Leave him a crazy comment, and yeah, let's do this again soon. All right,
All right,
see
guys. You guys take care, everybody.
you. Everybody.
See ya.